In this video, we are going to do 9.04 charge-message. All right, so I've downloaded and opened up in Racket, so let's go over the problem. Problem A, finish the uncompleted steps of data design above for both battery and phone. So data description and interpretation is done for both battery and phone. We have to do 1B, 3, and 4. Okay, so let's just do it. So let's just review the battery data definition really quickly. So battery is this make battery structure, percent is a number, charge rate is a number, percent is the amount of charge, all right, and charge dash rate is the percentage of charge per minute, all right. That's really important for the next problem, for the functions that we're going to use on this. All right, anywho, try to go and do 1B, 3, and 4 for battery. I'll go over spoilers in 3, 2, and 1. Alrighty, so I'm assuming that you guys took a good swing at it, so now let's go over it together. So if using define structs, write all the accessor signatures. So battery dash percent consumes a battery and produces a number. Battery dash charge rate consumes a battery and produces a number. So that is that done, easy peasy. So when B is done. All right, next is some data examples. Okay, so let's make some batteries here. So we're gonna say, define, we'll say B0. Well, we can make it more descriptive. So we'll say a full battery. So we make battery where the percentage is 100 and the charge rate kind of really doesn't matter, but we'll say 20, right? What else? Let's see, we'll do a define. We'll do a half battery, so it's at 50%, and the charge rate is at 5, and then we'll say one more, so we'll say 20, 10, it's a weird way, battery to rate the variable, but good to come with descriptive names, so 20% battery, 10% charge rate, all right, like so. So that is good enough for the data examples, okay. All right, so now is a function template that processes this data. All right, so for battery, dash temp consumes a battery, and we don't know what produces yet. We're just laying out all the pieces. So what do we call this input variable? Let's call it bat for short, for battery. Likewise, we want to take apart the battery. So battery dash percent of the given battery, and battery dash per charge dash rate of given battery. Okay, so that is the template done for the battery structure. Now let's go over the phone, okay? So phone is this make phone string, and then it has a nested structure, which is a battery. Interpretation name is the brand name of the phone and the model, right? Battery is the reference to battery. So pause the video and try to do 1B, 3, and 4 for the phone problem. Okay, I'm going to go over spoilers in 3, 2, and 1. All right, so 1B, if using define struct, write all the accessor signatures. So we're going to do phone dash name consumes a phone and produces a string. Phone dash battery consumes a phone and produces a battery, like so. So that is that done. I'm gonna mark myself done for that. Next are some data examples. So let's go over some phones. We're gonna say define, let's say iPhone, make phone, iPhone 10, and we'll give it a full battery, right? We'll give it the battery structure up here. So it's gonna be a nested structure. So define Samsung, make phone, let's say Samsung Galaxy S24, and we'll give it a half battery. Team Android, by the way. I do not like iPhones. So let's do make phone for Vivo, and then we'll say 20. We'll give it the 2010 battery. All right, so a battery with 20% charge, and it charges really fast though, because Vivos do have, all the Chinese phones have really fast charging. Anywho, those are some good examples done. Let's do 4. So a template that processes the phone. Okay, so we're gonna write phone dash temp. It's gonna be a function that consumes a phone And we don't know what it'll produce yet because it's just a template. So we'll call the input variable ph. And likewise, we'll want to deconstruct and take apart the phone to lay out all these pieces. And phone dash battery of the given one. All right. Likewise, since this is a reference to a non-base type, right, we should really consider passing it to a helper function. So we'll call it battery dash temp and give it off to the battery template. Okay. So gonna comment myself done for that. And now we can move on to problem B, the functions. Okay, so let's go down here. Okay, so now let's read problem B. So problem B says phones, mainly Android. So we're gonna pretend iOS also has this feature. I don't know if it does though yet, but we're just gonna pretend. Phones have a feature where it will tell you how long it will take to charge. So it's gonna say charging, current percentage, how many minutes are left until full, right? And here's an image of an Android that has this feature, right? So like so, it says charging, and then says the current percentage, and then the minutes until full, okay? All right. So don't worry about spacing the percentage and minutes left into new lines. So notice how charging is on one line, and then 33 minutes left is on another line. Let's not worry about it. We're just going to produce the string here, all right? We are only concerned with minutes. No need to convert them to hours, but you should challenge yourself, right? In the case of fully charged, right, produce the string fully charged, all right? Design a function charge-message that consumes a phone and provides the given purpose above. So pause the video and try to do how to design functions for this problem. All right, I'm gonna go with spoilers in 3, 2, and 1. All right, so I'm assuming that you guys took a good swing at it, so let's go over it together. So according to the problem statement, we need a function called charge-message. Consumes a phone and produces, let's see, consumes a phone and provides the given purpose above. It looks like the message is going to be a string. So hopefully it's extracted that out. Signature, purpose. So the purpose would be produce the minutes left until fully charged, or the string fully charged. All right. And let's be more descriptive about this one, right? Let's just copy and paste this down. Produce this string messages, we'll say y minutes until fully charged, or fully charged if the given phone is fully charged, right? So signature purpose stub, we still need to stub this out. So define charge message bh, and then we'll produce, has to produce a string. Give it a dummy value here. And let's just grab a check mark up there and paste ourselves down. Okay. So next are some examples. All right. So we're going to do some check expect charge message. All right. So let's give it the iPhone. And I think the iPhone has a full battery, right? So the battery is 100% with a 20% charge rate per minute. So if it's fully charged according to the purpose statement, we should just produce the string fully charged. All right, let's do another phone. The Samsung next. Charge message of the given Samsung. All right. So let's look at the Samsung, and let's say half as a half battery is at 50 and it charges 5. The charge rate is the percentage of charge per minute. So it's going to charge 5% per minute. So that's going to be interesting. Okay. So let's just get as much done as we can here. So we're going to do the current percentage, which the Samsung has a battery of 50% as shown above. So we're going to say produce a string charging. So that's what it should produce. Charging space, current percentage, so 50%, ym until full. All right. So we'll figure out the ym a bit later. Let's just do one for the Vivo. The Vivo. So Vivo has a 20% battery with 10% charge rate per minute. So 20% battery, Vivo, Vivo. Y minutes until fully charged. Okay, so now let's figure out the charge rate, right? So if I have 50% charge on my phone right now, and it charges 5% per minute, right? Then that means that every minute it's going to charge 1%, right? So 100 minus 50, we still have 50% left to go to reach 100% charge. And if it's going to charge 1% per minute, then it's going to be 50, right? 50 minutes until full. So charging 50%, 50 minutes until full. So what about the Vivo here, right? 20% Y minutes until full. What's the charge rate for it? It has a 10% charge rate, right? 20% battery. All right. So 20% battery, we have to do some math here. Dun, dun, dun. So we had 20% battery. I'm going to grab up my pen. Actually, no. 20% battery. You're just going to have to suffer with my handwriting. So 20% battery, right? So subtract by 100, which is the max battery percentage. So we have 70% left to go. Okay. And the rate, right? If you remember, the charge rate is the percentage of charge per minute. So it's going to charge 10% per minute. 10% per 1 minute. Per 1 min. Okay. So looking at this, right? This is a minus. So 100 minus 20% is 70% left to go. So this was the current one. We have currently 20%. We have 70% more to go. All right. So 70% at 10% per minute. I think we just divide by how much we have. So it's going to take 7 minutes, roughly. 7. Oh, wait. 100% minus 20 is 80%. Not 20. Not 70. My bad. So we have 80% to go. So 80% times 10% per minute. Right, so we divide by minutes in a way, right? And we should get 8 minutes. So charging the Vivo's 20% battery at 10% per minute should take 8 minutes to charge that until full. All right. So 8 minutes. So 20% battery, 8 minutes until full. Okay, so now let's run against the stub. And likewise, get some mismatches, but it's fine. Okay, so let's just come out the stub, mark ourselves done for that. Okay, examples are done. And now we have to grab the template from the body. From data, I mean, so is there any templates that consume a phone? Yes, there is. Let's use this as starter code. Change this to charge message. Like so. All right. So now really pause the video and try to work on the solution on your own. This should be all the mental scaffolding needed. We have the signature, purpose, stub examples, etc. You can use a hint on the website if you need. I'm going to go for spoilers in 3, 2, and 1. All right, so I'm going to assume that you took a good swing at it. So now let's go over the solution together. So is the brand name of the phone relevant to the problem statement? No, the brand name of the phone is not. So we don't need you. Likewise, you probably don't need this outer operation. So I'm going to delete you and 1 parenthesis to get rid of that. And we have a battery temp here. All right, so let's make this from thinking about what this should do. Charge message should produce really a battery message. All right, and we're going to have to write that function. All right, so phone dash battery gets the battery out of the phone, and battery dash message is going to consume a battery by virtue of that. So it consumes a battery and then spits out a string. All right, so now we have to do the how to design functions for this function, and I recommend you pause the video and try to do the steps on your own. I'll go for spoilers. 3, 2, and 1. All right, so I assume that you guys took a good swing at it. Let's go over it together. So the purpose is pretty much going to be the exact same as these, right? But for the sake of time, I'm just gonna just copy and paste it. All right, it's pretty much the exact same. And let's just copy and paste some examples here. All right, so this is gonna be battery dash message like so. and they're going to take the batteries of the phones. In this case, I know the iPhone has a fully charged battery, and the Samsung has a half charged battery, half, and the Vivo has that 2010 battery. All right. Okay. So let's also do the stub for it. Battery dash message consumes a battery, call it bat, produces an empty string, and it differs, but it's fine. Okie dokie. So coming out the stub. Let's look at the signature for battery dash message. Consumes a battery. So is there a template that consumes a battery? Yes, there is. Let's use it as starter code. So I'm going to paste it down here and then rename this. Okie dokie. So for these, we completed the signature for stub for the battery message function, did the examples for it too, copied the template off data. Now we're off to code the body, the hardest part of all. So pause the video and try to work on the solution on your own. This should be all the mental scaffolding for battery dash message. However, spoilers in 3, 2, and 1. All right, so I'm assuming that you took a good swing at it. So now let's go over the solution together. All right, so we have to produce this string or this string. All right, so there's sort of some decision making going on here. So we could use a cond or an if. I'm going to use a cond, right? So that's what we need. A cond where we have to produce either one of these two strings, right? So according to the purpose statement. So let's just fill out a cond with 2 questions and answers. All right, just to outline this out. All right, so one of them should be if it's fully charged, and then if it's fully charged, we should produce the string fully charged. So let's just do that. So we're given a battery, right? And we have the accessor battery dash %. So if this is greater than or equal to 100, right, then we're going to produce the string fully charged, like so. Okay, so now this can be just the else case, because there's no, you're either fully charged or you're still charging, right? So that indicates that we don't really have to do a condition here. Else we do something with these two accessors, like so. All right, so else what we want is we still want to produce a string, but this time with this message. So it looks like there's a lot of individual components, so we'll probably need a string append. So string append. All right, so we're going to do charging, right? That's what we got to do. And then what? Charging space, and then the current percentage. So we have the current percentage here, like so. All right. And then M until full. So we're just going to stick the charge rate there. All right. Like so. And then we're going to write M until full. All right. It's not 100% perfect yet. All right. But it's going to get us closer there. So we have some mismatches. String append expects a string given 50, given 20. All right, so string append expects strings, but we're giving it numbers. So we have to convert this to a number to string. All right, and likewise with you. All right, so charging 505 minutes until full. So let's see, 50%, 50 minutes until full. So there's no space there, so we got to do that. Say percentage space. All right, because that's what we were missing, 50, and then there should be a 50%, and then a space for that. So we run this, we're getting so closer. 5%, 5 minutes until fulls, and then we have a 50 minute until full. So we're getting some mismatches in the minute calculation of the time, right? So this has to deal with that, the charge rate, right? So if you remember earlier, right, we had to do our math here, subtract by 100% minus the current percentage. So this is the current percentage to get the remaining percentage that we need to charge, and then to divide it by the charge rate. All right. So let's just write that in code, right? So I'm going to space this down. I'm going to subtract the current battery percentage by 100, up minus 100, that, all right? And then we're going to divide this by the charge rate to get the total minutes left to charge. And let's see what went wrong. Charge 100%, charge rate battery, charging 50%, 50 minutes until full, 10 minutes until full. What is wrong here? So this and 50 minutes till full. All right, I'm gonna pause the video and hopefully I will return with the solution. All right, so I found the problem. It's because I did my math wrong. So the tests are wrong, right? So this test passed, right? The Vivo, 20% at charging at, what is the rate? At 10% per minute does charge in 8 minutes, right? But 50% at, 1% per minute, right? It's not 50 minutes, right? It's 10 minutes, right? If you do the dimensional analysis, it'll make sense, right? We take 50%, we have 50% left to charge, and we're charging 1% per minute, right? Yeah, it should be 10 minutes. Anywho, let's just run this. Should it be 10 minutes? That's what we have here. Right, the formula worked for the Vivo, so I'm pretty sure I just did my calculation wrong, so it should be 10 minutes. If not, then I'll, post in the comments. Anywho, all the tests should pass, and we are mostly done for both of these functions, like so. All right. So let's hand it in to make sure it passes the server-side tests. So I recommend you do that. It's called, what is it called? Charge-message, hand it in, right? And then make sure it passes the test, okay? And go on the website, log in, check your score against the server-side tests. All right, that is about it for this one, and I will catch you in the next one.